Okay, welcome to Coffee with a Purpose, everyone. Nice summer morning that isn't too hot yet. I guess we're getting bad temperatures later this week, but not sure what they'll be today. Anyway, this morning we're happy to have as our guest um, Rachel. I forgot to ask you, Rachel, how do you pronounce your last name?
That's
Vignes?
fine. It's Vingsness.
Vingsness. Okay. From the Natick Service Council, who's taken over the executive director role from Dan Shea, I believe, who had it before and who visited with us back in, gosh, 2023, I think, and perhaps even before that. But for a group as active as Natick Service Council, there's lots of things that have happened since 2023, and I'm sure are on the front burner now. So we're happy to have you here with us, Rachel. To chat with us about what's going on. We usually start with brief introductions of us. I'm sure you probably know a bunch of us already, but we'll go around the virtual room real quickly.
Great.
Carrie, do you want
Okay, I know Rachel pretty well. See, I wore my shirt today, Rachel.
I see
to?
that.
Keep Natick Beautiful, Service Council, and I mentioned Repair Cafe too. I'm going to make an announcement. Looks like we're going to be doing just one in Natick and one in Framingham per year. So brace yourself.
Mm,
There'll be
okay.
one in Framingham in October, another one in Natick, not till probably Earth Day all around Natick 2027. So just prepare
Okay.
yourself.
Great. Thanks for that. Bill?
Hi, Bill Ramage. I am active at First Congregational Church. I do work at Topeka Cove with Pat Conaway and as a trail steward. And you may know me through the Community Preservation Committee, where we have given you and others some money, and I'd love to have an update on how that's going. Very excited about that.
Yep.
So welcome.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank
And
you.
speaking of Pat.
Good morning. Um, I'm not on mute. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Right.
Good morning, Pat from Keep Natick Beautiful.
Hi, Pat.
Thanks, Pat. Kathleen?
Good morning, Rachel. I don't think we've met, so I'm delighted you're here today. I'm Kathleen Donovan. I'm on the Library Board of Trustees and also volunteer with Pat's Keep Natick Beautiful.
Thanks, Kathleen. Leslie?
Hi, Leslie, and I know Rachel, and I wanted to hear more about the Natick Service Council today.
Thanks, Leslie.
Great.
Sally, good to see you. I gotta come off mute. Yeah.
Will do. Hi, I'm Sally and Hopkins. And Rachel, I'm really delighted to hear what you have to share with us. I'm uh, a, a fan of Coffee with a Purpose and Pat Conaway's sister. So I do some Keep Natick Beautiful too. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Sally. Cindy.
First, am I the only one that's having trouble hearing people, or is there
I think we're
interruptions
hearing
with
okay.
people talking?
I think it might be your signal because you're breaking up a tiny bit, but
I'm here. Okay, I'm Cindy Bates. All right, so it's me. Okay, I'm a trail steward. I sing in sound and spirit, and I keep Natick beautiful.
thank you. If you turn your video off, it might help your bandwidth. Martin.
Hi, it's Martin Kessel, and yeah, I'm having trouble hearing as well. Not sure but I hear for the first time in quite a while with a number of illnesses, and I tend to listen, probably can't participate a whole lot. So I'd like to sort of be welcomed here to Coffee with a Purpose, and hope I can come for many, many times in the future.
Thanks, Martin. Always good to have you. Brinley.
Good morning, Friendly Vickers. I'm a town meeting member and hang out and check out stuff in town. And I'm happy to have you guys here today. And I work from my phone, so that's why I don't have a picture. So thanks for being here.
Thanks, Brinley. Carol.
Good morning. Nice to see everybody. I've lived in Natick over 50 years and I love the town. So I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to tell us.
Thanks, Carol. Alan. Alan might be away from his. Oh, there he
No,
is.
hi, I'm Alan Cantor, ready to jump on my bike, but didn't quite make it yet. Yeah, I've been in Natick just over a year. I love being here and looking forward to what you have to say. Thanks.
All right, enjoy the ride. Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah. Like Bill, active with the First Congregational Church and community preservation. Just sort of a general interested in all things Natick and looking forward to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, and I'm Doug, also with the church, and I convene this August group of wonderful people. So I don't know if I used August the right way, but
August.
August. Oh, I didn't even pronounce it right. Oh, there you go. All right. So Rachel, again, thanks for being with us. And the floor is yours. I don't know if we talked about whether you want to share your screen or not, but that you can do that too if you'd like.
Yeah, I do. I do have a presentation, but I'll first start by introducing myself. Obviously, you all know my name and the organization I work for, but Rachel Vingsness from the Natick Service Council. And a little bit about me is I've been with the Natick Service Council for about 6.5 years now. So I started working in the BRAC Center. So the BRAC Center is the program that offers employment services to anybody in Natick who's looking for a job or looking for some help with their resume. So I started in the BRAC Center. I did that for a couple years, and then I moved into the Director of Programs and Operations role, kind of overseeing all of our programs. And then when Dan decided to retire at the end of last year, was appointed to the Executive Director role. And I'm just thrilled and honored to be a part of this organization, to be leading this organization. And I think part of that is about community. So as I was listening to all of you introduce yourselves, I mean, wow, what a powerful community Coffee with a Purpose is. So this is my first time at Coffee with a Purpose, but probably not my last, because what a great group. And I'm sure you have lots of interesting speakers coming in, but I just couldn't help but notice the involvement of every single person, the involvement and the dedication and the commitment to Natick and our community, which is, I think, part of what makes this town so special. So thank you all for the work that you do and the interest that you have in making sure that Natick is a great place to work, a great place to live. So a little bit about me and again, gratitude for all of you. So I thought I would start. We actually just wrapped up our fiscal year and had our annual meeting and produced our annual report. So I actually thought I'd take you through that information because it's a really good recap of the last year and our accomplishments and then what we're looking forward to in the year ahead. I am happy to take questions as we go. So maybe Doug, if you can help look out for people who have their hand raised or come off mute or
Sure.
Put something in the chat. I'm happy to stop and answer questions. You all probably know Natick Service Council does a lot. Our programming is deep and wide. So I'll move from all of our different programs, and maybe before I do that, move on to the next program, I'll pause too in case there's any questions within that. So does that sound like a good?
That sounds like a great plan.
Course of action? Okay. All right, now here's the, I just sent a request to share my screen.
You should have it now.
Great. It's always the technical part, right? Where you gotta make sure you get that straight.
So we don't get Zoom bombed. I heard that happened to the Economic Development Council the other day, which was unfortunate.
What happened?
Oh, they got Zoom bombed by some person with not much emotional maturity.
Oh, I've never heard that. All right, so can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
And you should just see the logo here, right? Okay.
Yeah, right.
So I'll go quickly through some things because I think I recognize some faces here, and it sounds like people are really connected to Natick and the town. So hopefully you know some of this information, but I don't want to make assumptions either. So Natick Service Council has been around for actually 64 years. So a long standing organization right here in Natick. And we were formed originally by a group of churches. Different places of worship who were committed to supporting the community and people who needed extra help. And a lot of that was happening in silos. And they came together and they said, we should really work together. We should create this organization for the sole purpose of supporting the Natick community. So that's how Natick Service Council got started. We look very different now than we did 64 years ago, but the mission is actually the same, which is to support Natick neighbors who are experiencing financial hardship. We're an independent nonprofit organization, so that means that we are not state or federally funded. We are not part of the town. We are really truly a standalone nonprofit. And we work very closely with the community to be able to do the work that we do. So that's a little bit about our background and our mission. So I'm going to start with case management because I think this is really important and a differentiator from other organizations. We have a case management model. And what that means is that anybody who comes into Natick Service Council who's interested in receiving support meets with a case manager. And that case manager does an intake, spends some time with that family or that individual just to really understand what's happening in their life and how we can support them. Typically people come to us in crisis. There's something that they need help with immediately, and that's whether they're facing eviction and they need help with paying their rent or mortgage. That's whether they need help with food. But typically a lot of different things are linked, right? So if someone is experiencing hardship with accessing food, there's probably other things in their life that are causing challenges as well. So this case management model allows us to understand what's the immediate crisis and need and how do we support that, but what else is going on that might be a barrier or be a challenge as well that we can help with. So our case managers meet regularly with our clients to not only refer them to Natick Service Council programs, but also to make referrals to outside programs. So some examples of that could be filling out a SNAP application, signing up for fuel assistance. If someone's having a mental health crisis, referring them to get support with mental health. If someone is struggling with addiction, making sure that they're connected to resources to help them with that. So just really the case management, being able to have these deep relationships with clients is really important. And like I said, a little bit of a differentiator than some other organizations. You can see here last year we supported 886 families and 164 of them were brand new to us. And that included almost 300 new individuals. Doug, I see your hand.
Yeah, actually, you were just addressing the question was whether what the 164 and 298, I mean, is a fraction of the 886. Would you characterize then that you're seeing a huge uptick in the need for services?
We are. We typically onboard, I will use the term, around 110 new families a year. And we also see usually anywhere between 80 and 90 families or individuals, I should use the term households actually, that leave us every year. And that's for various reasons, whether people move, whether people don't need our support anymore, whether sometimes we have an aging population, so we have sometimes households or individuals that pass away. But so if you look at that approximately 110, 164 obviously is significantly higher than that, right? So last year we did see a significant increase in support needed. And as we move along, I'll touch on what could have been some of those contributors. Any other questions on case management before I move on? Great. So actually, I'm going to take one step back. I'm sorry. Case management, what I failed to mention, one of the most important things that our case management team does is they make the financial assistance decisions. So you can see on the right side some of the contributions there. So we have a financial assistance budget that goes towards rental assistance or mortgage, transportation, utilities, and youth enrichment. So we are able to support people if they're at risk of losing their home or facing eviction, if their utilities have been shut off or at risk of being shut off. And then the transportation piece is helping people with car repairs and also helping people get to and from the pantry to make sure they have access to food.
And did you say youth enrichment? Did I hear you correctly?
Yeah, that's our fourth bucket of financial assistance. And I actually have a slide just for that to kind of walk through what that youth
good.
enrichment is. So last year we gave $160,000 of financial assistance. About 12 of that was dedicated to youth programming. A lot of that is youth tutoring sessions, and that's mostly through Kids Connect. So that's a Natick-based nonprofit tutoring that's run by Deb Sayer in town. We have a great relationship with Kids Connect where we can refer kids from our families to Kids Connect, and they give us a discounted rate on tutoring, and then we help provide cover the cost of that for people who are struggling to do that. So that's the youth tutoring. We also have programming to help kids stay connected to their peers. So that whether that's through sports, whether that's with camps or other extracurricular activities, that's the scholarships you see here. Most of that is funded through the Mike Rourke Scholarship Program, and that's in partnership with St. Vincent de Paul. And then the Natick Rotary Club also has a Make a Difference program that helps fund those scholarships. And then finally, you can see our birthday program here. So we provided 182 children with birthday gifts and party supplies. So every month we send out an email to parents within our community that have a child under the age of 12 who's having a birthday and let them know that we can support them with that birthday. And we put together a few different toys or gifts based on what their likes are. And then a cake mix and frosting and candles and some plates and just wrapping paper to make sure that every child gets to celebrate their birthday in a meaningful way and that's not a hardship on the parent.
That's cool. And so the scholarships, could that help with sports fees for kids for them to be able to continue to participate in sports?
Yes. Yeah, and that's all ages. We see high schoolers make the volleyball team, but then need some help actually paying for their uniform or paying for participating, or elementary school kids who are interested in playing Natick soccer, for instance. And it's not just sports. There's other extracurriculars. We had this past year someone who was interested in playing an instrument in the band, but you have to rent the instrument, right? So here now we have a hardship on that family. It's an additional $50 a month. That's not, that they don't have access to. And then we're able to support them. And that's really thinking about, our goal is to make sure everyone in Natick has their daily needs being met. And we help provide stability to families. But what I think about stability is not just survival. Stability is about being able to have access and enriching life as well, especially our youth. So this is the effort behind that. Before I move on to the Braxton, are any questions on kind of financial assistance and the youth programs?
I'm sure you'll be getting to it later in the presentation, but love to hear where you get your money from to give it all out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will. I will. In the youth enrichment, part of that is from the Rotary Club of Natick and the Mike Rourke scholarship program. So when you support those organizations, it in turn helps support us too. And the Red Hawk Foundation, I should mention as well. I don't know if you're familiar with the Red Hawk Foundation, but they are fairly new, maybe in the last 4 years, and they fundraise specifically for youth enrichment and youth programming. So they give us a grant every year, but then they also give grants to other organizations that have distribute that to kids. So the next program is our BRAC Center. And the BRAC Center, what's a little bit different about the BRAC Center than our other programs is it's open to all Natick residents. So to be a part of the Natick Service Council community, there's two requirements. One is that you have to live in Natick, and the other is an income requirement. We support up to 60% AMI. But the BRAC Center is a little different, where anybody in Natick is eligible to use the BRAC Center. And this is around employment, which we know is so important to having stability and having a stable income. So regardless of your current income, our philosophy is if we can help people stay in jobs or find better jobs, it helps them with that stability. So the BRAC Center every month has walk-in hours.
No. Rachel, you froze from our end.
Usually the third Thursday of the month Oh, am I back?
You are now.
Okay.
It's possible that turning your video off, but I don't know if that would affect the screen sharing or not. It might not.
I don't think so. I'm happy to do that if it helps with. I did just get a signal that I have unstable internet connection.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me know.
I can also say for people, sometimes if you turn off your Wi-Fi, if you're working from home or somewhere like that, turning off Wi-Fi actually sometimes helps.
Huh. I think that would
If
be
you're
better
if you're on a phone, if you're on your laptop, that doesn't work.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, and using data instead. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let me know if I am interrupted again, and then I will turn off the video. So BRAC Center has monthly walk-in hours, which anyone can come and drop in. We have usually 2 to 3 mentors there to help out. And if people can't make those walk-in hours, you can set up an appointment with our career coach to have a one-on-one session with her. And she is phenomenal. What's interesting about the BRAC Center is you have, she's working with high schoolers who are looking for their first job, and someone in the biotech field who has a PhD and is looking for a new opportunity. So she's worked with people in all different types of industries at all different levels of education and seniority. So really, really able to kind of support in lots of different ways. And Bill, I see your hand.
Mute. Yeah, you've got 10 hours, walk-in hours annually. Did you mean monthly?
Oh,
or
yes.
weekly?
Yeah, I was confused by that too.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, monthly though, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, great. Thank you.
Mhm. Brinley.
Yes, I'm just curious what the thoughts are for people volunteering at the BRAC Center. Are you going to cover that? Like, are there requirements for experience and all of that type of thing? I personally really enjoy helping people with resumes, but it's just something I've done for decades. I don't have qualifications for it other than that I think I'm pretty good at it usually. And so I'm just curious if you want to talk about what it means, if you are going to talk about it, and if not, would you please talk about what it means to be a volunteer?
Yeah, I will. And now's a good time to do that. So the BRAC Center is a little bit of a specialty skill, right? In terms of helping people with their resume and getting ready for job interviews and job search. We always are interested in volunteers for the BRAC Center who have that background, who have experience helping people with resumes and helping people with the job search, especially if it's someone who is kind of kept up on different trends, because we're in a rapidly changing world in terms of AI and how employers are vetting resumes and looking at resumes and preparing for interviews. So if you have experience working with people on their resumes and enjoy that, I would strongly encourage you to reach out if you're interested in helping in the BRAC Center. A lot of times there's kind of two main volunteer opportunities in the BRAC Center, which the first is being a part of our walk-in hours and being a mentor there, which is, sometimes we have 3 people come in that day, sometimes we have 8 people come in that day. So just being prepared to meet with whoever might walk through the door and listening and supporting and coaching on their job search. So that's a great way. And then the other is we do workshops. So we do 3 or 4 workshops a year. And if there's a certain topic that somebody has expertise or interest in the workforce development space and would like to present that, we're always looking for workshop leaders too. So brilliant. I would say if you have experience, you don't have to have be classically trained. So if you have experience and interest in it, then I would definitely encourage you to reach out.
Thanks.
Yeah, Doug.
Is there an aspect of this that also provides leads for people that are looking to fill positions? I want to say I have this memory of when the church was looking for a custodian. We might have it had been suggested to us at least that we contact BRAC to see.
Yes, you all did reach out. That happens from time to time, but we don't have an ongoing database of jobs that we're not job matching.
Yeah.
But people, organizations, companies do reach out and say, I'm looking to hire someone. Are you working with anyone in the BRAC Center right now who would be a good fit? And that's tricky. It's a timing thing, right? That the open role is similar to, someone's skill set and interest. So I mentioned that we also have workshops. We did several workshops last year, one that was based on AI and how to navigate that within the job search space. We did one on networking, one on LinkedIn. So we will continue to do workshops as we see different trends. There's organizations out there like Mass Hire, which is huge organizations focused on employment, squarely on employment. So we also refer people to those. So what we try and do is identify where there's gaps. So where other organizations or companies are not hosting training and workshops, but we think are interesting, relevant, trending topics, then we'll create workshops to help fill in those gaps. We also last year started a new high school student tutor program with the BRAC Center, which was really successful. So one of the trends that we saw coming in were seniors who were looking for jobs. So when I say seniors over the age of 60 who were looking for jobs, but had very little computer skills. And right now, it is very difficult to find any job that doesn't have some kind of technology portion to it, right? Technology is just a part of our everyday world, no matter what job you're in. So we matched high school students with people who were interested in increasing their technology or computer skills. They met in the library weekly to help make sure they were able to accomplish their goals and help them with their job search. So that was a brand new program last year that was successful, and really this kind of intergenerational mentoring has really positive impacts on both sides, the mentor and the mentee. So that was a great program. And then we also had some new partnerships last year. Natick 180 reached out and they do a life skills series with high school students and added us to their life skills series. So one is about employment, obviously, which we hosted. Another was about finances, et cetera, et cetera. So we worked with them. We did a program specifically just for the Metco students at Natick High, and then a couple other things as well. So some new stuff coming out of the BRAC Center, which has been exciting.
Why is it called the BRAC Center, by the way?
The official name is the Joan H. Brack Career Development Center. So Bob Brack, which is no longer with us, but a huge supporter of many organizations in this area, gave us the funding to start the Brack Center in his wife's name because she was very dedicated to education and employment.
Nice.
So over time, it's been it's still the Joan H. Brack Career Development Center, but has been fondly referred to as the Brack Center.
Very cool.
Yeah. So the food pantry. The food pantry is our largest program by far. And this slide is telling some of the new stuff that happened last year. So I'll take a step back and cover the food pantry has 3 different main components to it. The first is coming in and shopping once a month, and it's what we call a full pantry shop. So that's non-perishables, personal care items, and perishable goods, which is 1 to 2 weeks worth of groceries for somebody. We also have distribute diapers and wipes for families who need that. So that's the food pantry, the regular food pantry. We are supporting around 450 households a month in the regular food pantry. The second part of the food pantry, overall food pantry, is our mobile market. Sometimes people hear it referred to as our mobile farmers market. And that happens 3 times a month. So we did a survey with our clients a couple years ago. And what we heard from them is that shopping once a month wasn't enough, that they needed more help and they needed more support when it came to accessing food. So we added this second touch point where people could come in a second time a month and receive perishable goods. So some produce, meat, milk, eggs, butter. So we have around 300 households that are participating in that. And it's called mobile because once a month we go to the Cedar Gardens community and we distribute that food to that community, just to make it a little bit easier than having them come to us, knowing that people who live at Cedar Gardens are all seniors or people with disabilities. So a little bit harder to make it here. And then the third component of the food pantry is our home delivery program. And that is for people who are truly homebound. They can't make it to the food pantry and they don't have a family member that can come pick up food for them. So, and we have about 50 people on home delivery a month. So that's just what's happening in the food pantry. Last year was a really big year for us. We were seeing around 70 to 80 families on the wait list every month. So we were not able to meet the demand that our community had. So we decided to double the size of the food pantry. So that's our food pantry expansion. We doubled the space, so then we could double the amount of people shopping. So that allowed us to add 30 appointments each week and eliminate our wait list. That was a huge effort.
And where is the space?
It's and I'm happy if anyone ever wants to come over and take a tour. I'm happy to do like a coffee with a purpose on the road and host everyone here. The space is we're at 2 Webster Street, so we're part of the Natick Housing Authority, the old Coolidge school. And the space, it's the same space, but what we did was the pantry expanded into where our backstock used to be. And then we were able to rent more space from the Natick Housing Authority and create a new backstock area.
Cindy, you had your hand up, but you lowered it. Did you have a question? Or?
You answered it. You asked it and she answered it.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So we're still in the same place. And it's probably like 800 more square feet that we got from the Natick Housing Authority to put all of our backstock inventory in. Yeah. So that was a big effort, the food pantry expansion, and being able to, like I said, eliminate that wait list. It was hard. Knowing that there was 70 plus families every month who were looking for food. And the other thing it was creating is the stress on whether I'm going to get an appointment or not for even other families, right? So people were really anxious. And we want to make sure people know that we're here to support them and lower that anxiety and increase their stability. So the expansion was the right thing to do. It took us some time to get it funded and to get it up and running, but we're so glad we did.
Great. And Cindy, you thought of another question.
I do have a question. I see Van Garden Farm as a donating partner, and I don't know who they are. And I'm also curious to know if the Natick Organic Farm is that a potential partnership or other potential partnerships with maybe people who come to the farmers market?
Yeah, that's a great question. We have a lot of great donating partners, as you can see here. The Bagel Table and Bagels Spoonfuls, which is a food recovery program, an organization. They recover food from grocery stores and then they distribute them to local food pantries. So they come to us 2 times a week. Dignity Matters is for feminine care products predominantly, so on the personal care side. And yes, Van Garden Farm is a farm in Dover, and they do kind of a traditional CSA model, and any surplus they bring to us once a week on Thursdays. And I'm glad you asked about the Natick Community Organic Farm. This is a reflection on last year's partnerships, but actually we just started a partnership with them this summer. So they're now donating to us once a week, and they got a grant to be able to do that. And I'm not going to recall off the top of my head who gave them that grant, but that's been a nice partnership.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I had 2 more questions. One down towards the bottom of the slide, one of the non-perishable donation categories is Amazon and Target wish lists. If you could describe what those are. And then the other question was, do you coordinate need with other food assistance programs in the area, like Place to Turn? I mean, like for the families that you have to turn away if they're on the waiting list, is there some kind of cohesive or collective of like, we can't get you this month, but that place can or something? Or
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Rebecca Gallo at A Place to Turn is a great partner of ours. We're in constant communication and work together. We actually are started a new program at West Hill Park this summer in collaboration with the YMCA Summer Eats program, and Place to Turn and Natick Service Council is switching on and off every other week to be there and give out groceries. But I'm glad you asked the question. When we were seeing those wait lists, and even when people still are, we don't have a wait list and they get an appointment and they're saying they need more support, we always refer them to A Place to Turn, and vice versa. A Place to Turn supports more than just Natick, but if they're seeing Natick families that need more support other than just food or additional food, they will refer to Natick Service Council as well. Yeah. And I remember when we had the wait list, calling Rebecca and letting her know. I said, is it okay? Because we don't want to overwhelm you all. So, I have these families that I'm going to send your way, but bear down and get ready. And she said, bring it on. So, yeah, they're a great partner. They're a great partner. And Framingham. So, when people don't realize that we're a Natick only organization, and they might call in and say, hey, I heard that you have a food pantry and I'd like to get connected, but maybe they live in Framingham. There's Framingham organizations, again, whether it's the United Way, Tri-County, or Daniel's Table, we'll refer people there too. Yeah. It's a really nice, it's called the Metro West Food Collaborative, which is a group of people who are all working on the same mission, which is reducing, food insecurity and who have anti-hunger efforts. And we have regular meetings to talk about, this refrigerated truck from Franklin Food Pantry, right? Our truck could no longer handle the amount of food we needed from Greater Boston Food Bank. They received a new truck from a grant from the Greater Boston Food Bank and gifted us their truck, right? So this community is working really well together. Not all the time, let's be honest, like, but just another quick story. I see, Brinley, your hand up, but there was a gentleman that called us and said, I just went to deliver a pallet of raspberries to Stop and Shop, organic raspberries, a pallet of them, and they rejected them because they said it wasn't, for whatever reason, wasn't the right order. And I've called around and no one's answering or no one will take them. Will you take them? We said, sure, but we can't get rid of a pallet of raspberries. That's an incredible amount of raspberries, and a fragile berry. So this was the biggest truck I had ever seen, by the way. This truck pulls into our parking lot and the whole team is out, all hands on deck, just unloading these raspberries. And our food pantry director sends out an email to the Metro West Food Collaborative and says, I have raspberries. You come take as many as you can. The truck gate is open, and the amount of organizations that came, and then they started calling us the Raspberry Fairies. So I was at the YMCA the other day, and they're like, the Raspberry Fairies. So it's just a good example, again, of that, collaboration and making sure that we're all supporting one another. Brinley, I think your hand was first.
Yes.
Oh, I thank you for sharing that story because I absolutely love it. I have a husband who worked in grocery for a long time, and the waste that happens from grocery stores. I'm always so happy to hear stories like this that's moving. But I just raised my hand because Dignity Matters is one of those organizations that I feel strongly about because I regularly know what it's like to hear from people that personal items like that matter. And so I just wanted to give a shout out to people to say, when you go shopping for socks or underwear or a bra, just buy an extra one because it's really easy to donate. Then you can just go right to the Natick library and put it in there for Dignity Matters, or you can take it to the Service Council because I think it's a big deal, and I think it gets forgotten about a lot. Pads, tampons, adult diapers, all of that stuff. I think people don't think of that enough when they think about the needs that people have, and people buy peanut butter and tuna fish all the time. And I just want to say, if you're looking for a way for variety, I really, really appreciate Dignity Matters and what they do. And so I just would like to remind everyone, because no matter what the age is, everybody needs, it's nice to have a clean pair of underwear and socks.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you.
Carrie?
I was just going to say, with this pantry expansion and all the food coming in, you must generate a lot of boxes and cardboard, don't you?
Harry is, when we talk about a fairy, probably doesn't want to be known as the recycling fairy, but he is our recycling king. So Carrie comes once a week, excuse me, every week. Carrie comes and takes all of our cardboard over to the recycling center in Natick, and we do generate a lot of cardboard. So a huge help to the organization. He gets to drive the new truck, which is a lot easier to take the recycling over than the old van. But yes, we have, I get to volunteers later on in the slides, but we had 8,000 hours of volunteer service last year, over 300 volunteers. We would not be able to do all the work that we do at the volume that we do and in the way, right? So I'm really big on what we do, but also how we do it, which is with dignity and respect and compassion. And, our volunteers help us accomplish that. And to have someone like Carrie, who's weekly volunteering, it's a big commitment and one that we're very appreciative of.
I'm a full-time volunteer now, and I'm really your organization is one I'm really especially happy to help.
Yeah, well, we appreciate it.
Cindy?
Just curious, are most of the volunteers individuals, or do you have volunteers like through like a church? You'll have a group of people who volunteer at the same time, or just through organizations? Just curious.
Yeah, it's both. It's both. So we'll have a group come over from either a church, or a lot of the sports groups do. So like the Natick Comets hockey players, or a couple weeks ago we had the girls' 7th grade basketball team help unload a truck for us. So we have groups. MathWorks is a group that volunteers a couple times a year with us, and then lots of individuals too.
Thank you. That's cool.
Yeah, that's fun.
Great.
And then I know there was a question around the Amazon and Target, so I don't want to forget about that.
Yeah, I was just curious.
So we have bins, right, where you can just drop off food too, and then you can always bring food to the Natick Service Council. But what we have found is that people like to donate in lots of different ways. Some people just want to click a button on an Amazon wish list and have it delivered to us. So the Target and Amazon wish lists are just that, right? There's links on our website, and we'll put out QR codes at varying community engagement events where someone can just select, yep, I want to donate 2 packages of size 5 diapers, and bing, bang, boom, it's ordered and it shows up to actually our finance director's home, and then she brings them in. We don't have packages delivered here because those places deliver all hours of the day and every day. So you never know if there's someone going to be here to accept it. And then if it rains and something gets ruined. So yeah, we have various things delivered to homes of employees. But that's what the Amazon and Target wish list are.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions on this before we move forward?
I have a question. It might not be on that.
That's fine.
If you don't mind.
Not at all.
Just have to breathe a second. What are we aware of how many unhoused people there are in town?
That is a good question. I am not. And an organization maybe like Family Promise, Metro West, or SMOC might be able to identify that. But I'm not sure. We support several individuals who are unhoused, but we know primarily stay in Natick, and that's how we have them qualify, is that they're mostly in Natick.
Right.
And that's probably 4 or 5 people who are regularly coming in to get food or access the clothing closet. As Brinley mentioned, looking for a pair of socks or underwear. But as far as total number in Natick, I am not sure of that number. Yeah.
Okay. And are there agencies that service like either, not necessarily in town, but like I'm involved with an organization in Waltham that started out providing chaplaincy service and still does. So just a place people that are friends on the street can connect with and talk to and know that somebody cares. Are you aware of anything like that in town?
Yeah, I mean, I'll have everyone pause on that question because you all are very connected to the town and the organizations here as well. We have at the Community Senior Center, we have town social workers that are there. So those are a resource for people. Certainly at some of the organizations that support the unhoused, like SMOC, which is South Middlesex Opportunity Council. They have different programs and resources there. I mentioned obviously Family Promise, Metro West, but no, I'm not sure other organizations specifically for that.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Good question.
Before we go on too, I just want to thank Alan for turning his video on. When you said earlier you're going to be on the bike, I was imagining an exercise bike, but the image of you riding out wherever you're riding and listening to Coffee with a Purpose is a precious memory to.
Thanks. Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad I impressed you.
Thank you for giving me that.
Yep, getting ready for the hand mass challenge in a couple of weeks.
Sweet.
Nice.
Oh, let us know how we can donate to your
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for that offer. I sure will. I don't pass any of those up, but it'll
Our
be.
company ran a team for that for many years. I don't know whether they still do or not because I'm retired, but good group.
Right.
Yep. Thanks.
Right.
Appreciate
Right
your
on.
support. Yep. Bye-bye. I'm going.
Cool.
When Alan turned his video off, the first thing I thought of was like, I want to be Alan someday. Out on a Monday morning, just cruising along, right? Enjoying the beautiful weather.
Yeah. My motto is if you want to keep going, you got to keep going. So
I like it.
Just keep going.
Too.
Yeah, good for you.
All right. Cool.
So also food related, I wanted to touch on something last year that was a big moment in our community nationally, which was last November when SNAP benefits were at risk of being not funded for a to be determined amount of time. So this caused a lot of stress and anxiety for a lot of people. And the unknown of what was going to happen, quite frankly, the fear of not having SNAP funding, which is an important part of so many people's access to food, was a challenging one. And boy, did the Natick community step up. The amount of food that was donated, the amount of funds that was donated was incredible. And it allowed us to say, we're going to be okay because we know we're going to be able to help everybody because people were donating food and financially to us, which then there's the logistics of how to do that. But it was a huge relief. So we could tell our folks, we got you. So luckily, the crisis was not as significant as we expected it to be. But what we did is you can see on November 8th, so that was right when we were still unclear whether the state was going to step in. We had an emergency food distribution. So we had 236 households come in, and what we did was we distributed 2 bags of groceries and then a $25 gift card. So the groceries were all non-perishable goods that were pre-packed for people. And then the $25 gift card was to a grocery store so people could buy perishable goods that they needed. So that was an event that was hard that we needed to do that, but just I think the silver lining is, like I said, the amount of volunteers that came out to help prep for that. The relief that people felt knowing that we were having this emergency food distribution and seeing the community come together was just incredible, just incredible. So in addition to that emergency food distribution, we added more appointments to our November calendar to make sure that, again, there's no wait list. We saw a lot of new families coming in. So we talked earlier about, the 164 new households. We saw a large intake happen around, the October timeframe where people were anticipating this was going to happen and knew that without their SNAP benefits, they were going to need extra help. So we saw a lot of new families coming in that time. And you can just see here the 35,000 pounds of food in October and November versus 18,000 the year before, just to give you some indication of the increase in food that came in. So like I said, an incredible response from the community, and that brought a lot of relief to the people who needed it most. So I'll move on from food to clothing if people are
Sure.
don't have any questions. So another big effort that happened last year and really kind of the start of this year was Harriet's Closet went through an innovation period. So Harriet's Closet, for those of you who don't know, has been around for about 10 years. Naming rights, you asked about the Brack Center. Harriet's Closet is named after Harriet Kane. Does anyone know Harriet Kane? Harriet Kane is 103 years old. She was a volunteer at Natick Service Council for decades. An incredible, incredible woman. And she started Harriet's Closet, so it's named after her. So
And she's
Harriet's
still with
Closet,
us, I take it, at 100.
she is still with us.
Oh,
She is still
wow.
with us. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She came here for her 100th birthday to celebrate. She's no longer mobile, but we did see her just a few years ago, and we got her a big cake and had a nice celebration with her.
I just want to say the pictures for that were so awesome. It was so sweet to see that. It was really great.
Oh, I'm glad you saw it. Yeah, it was really fun. We were tickled and so excited. She's a big part of kind of who we are and how we got here. So it was nice to be able to share that. So Harriet's Closet, our clients at Natick Service Council come shop at Harriet's Closet by appointment, similar to food. Once a month, you're able to come in and pick up to 3 articles of clothing per family member, and then make an appointment for the following month. And obviously, all of our clients shop for free. Previously, Harriet's Closet, how the clothing was set up was a very teeny tiny closet and then all in the hallway, which wasn't the great experience. People were shopping outside the bathroom, next to the compost bin. So what we did when we expanded the food pantry, we took another 600 square feet to relocate Harriet's Closet to be in a proper shopping space. Really, the purpose of that for people to have a dignified shopping experience, have it be set up to resemble a store and just feel really good about coming in to shop and some privacy. You know, when you're shopping in the hallway like that and you have a little kiddo who's running away from you and it's hard to, right, like actually shop. But now with this dedicated space, people are just much more comfortable and there's a little area where the kids can play and while the parents shop. So that happens Monday through Thursday. That still happens Carrie, yeah.
Just put in a plug for it. I know I've talked to Carrie, who kind of runs the operation quite a bit. She told me that the prices at Harry's Closet are much better than Savers for anybody who happens to be looking for secondhand clothing. If Savers, go there instead.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Carrie. So yeah, our big transition when we move the space, we transitioned to a hybrid model. So Monday through Thursday, our clients are still shopping for free. And then on Fridays and Saturdays, we're now open as a kind of an ongoing fundraising effort. And we sell to the general community. So anybody can come in like a thrift boutique, purchase clothing at a reduced rate, and then all of those proceeds go right back into the Natick Service Council programming. So for us, it was a way to diversify revenue stream, to engage the community further, and it's also allowed us to expand our offerings. So whereas before we really just had clothing, we now have shoes and accessories, bags. So our clients have access to more through this effort as well. So it's open every Friday and Saturday from 10 to 4. Cindy.
So, yeah, I'm just curious. That's amazing. This, the fundraising aspect for Fridays and Saturdays. How has that gone? Has it been successful?
Yeah, it's been slow. So, we're actually on track with our projected revenue, but I'm one of those people where I have high expectations. I like to, right? Not high expectations. What's the word I'm looking for? I always
aspirational. Aspiration.
Yes, aspirational, and I like to exceed the goal. I don't want to just meet the goal. I like to exceed. So while we're on track, and it's doing well, I'd love for there to be more foot traffic, and I'd love to see those sales increase. And that will just take time, right? Well, people have to know that we're here, and it's the first 6 months of a new program and initiative. So I think. I feel really confident and hopeful that will happen. We have a lot of repeat customers. We receive a lot of great feedback. So yeah, it's just going to take some time to catch on.
Okay,
I
thank
take
you.
it there's not a concern about the sales volume reducing inventory for the people that need it for free too much.
Oh, not at all. We haven't, if anything, we've seen an incredible amount more of donations. And we have a ton of back stock that we're in a really good position.
Cool.
Yeah,
Sally
thank you.
and then Bill. Sally?
I was just wondering, where do you donate? Where can one bring things to donate in the way of clothing?
Yeah, great. Yeah, the donations can come right to Natick Service Council. And we're open Monday through Thursday, 9 to 5. And then people can come to the store on Fridays and Saturdays between 10 and 4.
And bring things to donate?
Yep. We only take in-season clothing because we don't have a lot of storage space. So for instance, right now we're only taking summer, and then come end of August, September, we'll start taking fall and winter.
Great.
Thanks.
You answered my question. I want to know when.
Yeah.
All right.
Any other questions on Harriet's Closet?
Looks like you can continue.
Great. So those really are our main ongoing programs, the case management, BRAC Center, food pantry, Harriet's Closet, and then we have seasonal programs and 3 main seasonal programs. And this goes back to what I said around, stability is not just about survival, and really these are some ways that we can continue to positively impact and someone's life. So back to school, these are last year's back to school numbers. We actually just kicked off our back to school program for this coming year. So back to school is kids. This is a really cool program. And very different than other back to school programs because it's very customized. Our program director is incredible. So we had 394 children last year, and each of these kids gets to choose their backpack color. So they have a list of colors they get to choose from. They get to choose whether they want a water bottle or lunchbox. And then the school supplies they receive are the school supplies that they actually need for the grade that they're in and the school that they go to. So you think about Natick, there's Kennedy and there's Wilson. Grade 5 Kennedy, that list is different than grade 5 Wilson's list. So we get from the schools the actual school supply list and make sure that that kiddo has exactly what they need for their grade, for their school, so that they have everything they need to be prepared for the school year. So it's a really incredible program. And then the other thing we just started, because TJX has been an incredible supporter, this is the 3rd year that they've supported us, is a $100 gift card. And that $100 gift card is for shoes and clothes. So we want to make sure these kids are going back to school feeling good, feeling confident, prepared, and just ready to go. So they receive their backpack and all the supplies, and then the gift card to get some new clothes and shoes.
Wow.
So that's our back to school program. If anyone is interested, and I don't know who is active on social media, but we put up, it's a wish list kind of thing. So the community is the people that how we get the school supplies. So you can go onto this wish list and sign up for 5 spiral bound notebooks, and then drop it off here at the Natick Service Council. So all of those supplies come from donations of people in the community.
Great. Brindley?
I just want to say, I've heard from friends who are like, if you don't jump on that wish list right away, you don't get an opportunity to because it fills up so quick. So I think it's awesome that you guys do that. It makes such a great difference. And I'm looking for when does it come out again? When does the wish list come out?
We just posted it on Friday, actually.
Okay. I will find that link and put it in the chat.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
again, thanks, Brinley. I see you've been populating it as usual with kinds of great links related to every single thing that Rachel's
Oh,
talking
thank
about.
you. Thank you. I can't see that in full screen.
Yeah, you'll get the list of it after the talk too. Yeah.
Wonderful. That's incredible. That's our back to school program. Our Thanksgiving program is for anybody who's a part of the Natick Service Council community who is staying home and cooking a meal. They're eligible for a grocery store gift card, and that gift card amount is based on their family size. So Dan may have touched on this when he spoke to you a few years ago, but we used to, and you may remember, we used to put together kind of boxes for Thanksgiving, which had a turkey and all the different fixins that are in a traditional Thanksgiving meal. COVID stopped that. We couldn't have that many volunteers and that much happening. So we went to this grocery store gift card model. And what we heard from our clients was how valuable that was because they could do their own shopping and buy their own food that they wanted to, the food that was important to them to eat and cook on Thanksgiving versus what was gifted to them. So we've stayed with the grocery store gift card model because of that. And it's worked really well, and people are really appreciative. The other thing we do is we partner with other organizations because we have some people that aren't going to cook, right? It's maybe one person who has a limited kitchen situation, and they're not going to cook a whole Thanksgiving dinner for themselves. So we partner with the Community Senior Center, who works with, it's a family based in Framingham. That's going to drive me crazy that I can't remember the name. It's a wonderful family who distributes thousands of Thanksgiving meals. But anyway, they will bring someone a plate or several plates, depending on how many people are in their house, of a cooked meal that they can reheat. So we try and figure out people's preferences. Are you cooking yourself? Okay, the Natick Service Council can support you in that. Are you looking for a meal to be delivered? Okay, there are other organizations and partners that can do that. So that's our Thanksgiving program. And then our holiday gift program is it's one of those that brings so much joy to so many people. Again, this is a huge community effort. So parents submit a wish list, parent or guardian submits a wish list of up to 5 gifts for their kiddo. And there's a financial cap. It can't be over $250 worth of gifts. And then again, what our program director does is she sponsors those gifts out. So a lot of them go to the police department. If you know the giving tree at the police department in their lobby, all of those tags are real gifts for kids at the Natick Service Council. And then there's a couple other churches in town who will take, a handful of kids and have tags in their own tree or own method of doing that. St. Linus does that, a couple others. And then the rest are previous sponsors. So sometimes people will say, I want to take a child, and they get everything on their wish list, and then they bring it back to us. So, and the other great partner that I'll have to shout out here is the Natick Elks. So they give us their main space for an entire week to run this program at no cost. So we are there for an entire week setting stuff up. Gifts are being dropped off. They're being organized, made sure they're assigned to the right child. And then over a weekend, we do the distribution to the parent. So that's for the kids. You can see last year was 267 kids. And then for teens, we actually give teens a gift card. So we fundraise for those gift cards. And then we have the parent or guardian pick out what we call gift bag stuffers. So there are little extra things that can go in a stocking if they celebrate Christmas, or that can be used for different days of Hanukkah if they celebrate Hanukkah. And that's anything from, candy to nail polish to maybe a $5 Starbucks gift card. And those are donated from the community. We've actually had a really great partnership with Natick basketball the last few years, and that the basketball community does a big drive for those gift bag stuffers and brings them to the Elks. And then for our seniors, all of our seniors get a $50 gift card, and that's so they can get something nice for themselves over the holiday. And then a few hand knitted items. The Morris Institute Library Stitchers donates a lot of hand knitted items, and some other groups do that. So that's really nice. And one of the things we've heard from our seniors more often than not is that gift card, that $50 gift card, even though the intent is for them to get something for themselves, is the way that they've been able to get their grandchild a holiday gift, or somebody else important to them a holiday gift. Which you all know the power of giving and how good that feels. So to be able to give someone, if their choice is to give rather than receive, we're certainly supportive of that. So those are our senior center programs. So those are all our programs. I'll move into, we talked about volunteers and community engagement, and just how important our community is to what we do. We've had a huge increase in volunteers, and that's partly due to that food pantry expansion, the Harriet's Closet expansion. So we've needed to expand our volunteer base, and you can see some of those numbers here on the increases. Community engagement, we try and be in lots of different places, and that's purposeful, right? We want to be at the farmers market. We want to be at Maple Magic with Natick Community Organic Farm, Natick Nights, Natick Days. We want to make sure that people know about us, that people who need our support know that we're here to help them, and that people who want to help know how to help. So we try and make sure that we attend as many kind of community engagement events as possible. And the other big, really important piece, we've talked about a few different things, but is our food drives. You can see 80,000 pounds of food were donated last year through, individuals and organizations. So that is, an incredible amount of food. 80,000 pounds and really important and critical for us to be able to run that program. And here's just kind of a call out on some of those. So Roach Brothers, these are kind of the top donations when it comes to food. Roach Brothers, over 18,000 pounds last year. And that's from that bin in front of Roach Brothers. So they have a bin that is stationed in the front of Roach Brothers, always accepting food. And then a few times a year, they let us stand outside and hand out flyers of food that we are most important and we're in critical need of. And that generates food that way. Same with Stop and Shop. There's a bin at Stop and Shop that we pick up weekly, those collections, which is an important piece of that makeup. Spoonfuls is that food recovery organization that I told you about earlier. They are the ones that go to different grocery stores and distributors, rescue food, and then make sure that that doesn't go to waste. Walnut Hill School does an important event for us every year. That's Fill Bowls Fight Hunger. This is a really cool event. It's fully student run. They make 300 bowls, so ceramic bowls, and they're beautiful, glazed, and then they sell them, and all the proceeds come back to Natick Service Council. They also have a food drive there for us, and it's an ice cream social, so it's a fun event. If you see that come up next spring, that's a good one to participate.
Which school did you say that was?
Walnut Hill.
Walnut Hill. Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. And then Wilson does one of our most important food drives every year. They've been doing this Healthy Harvest food drive around Thanksgiving, Halloween, Thanksgiving time every year. And last year was over 5,000 pounds of food. And that is just, it's hard to imagine what that looks like, but it's an incredible amount of food.
When our kids were at Wilson, I remember helping to drive some of that over to the food pantry. It was very impressive.
Yeah, it's wild. It's so fun. It's so fun. And then the bagel table I mentioned earlier has been a huge donor and helpful for us in terms of having some bread and bagels for people. And those are, the top 6 drives or donations. But like I said, there's thousands, tens of thousands of pounds of food coming in from the community beyond that. Looking at time to make sure we get through everything.
Right.
So you asked about this earlier, which was, okay, you do all of this work, and then how is it funded and how do you do it? I mentioned we don't receive any state or federal funding, and that's not quite accurate. So let me correct that statement. Last year we received an earmark from the state for $20,000, and Representative Linsky has put that in again for us this year, and it looks like that's going to go through. So that is some state funding. But you can see most of our donations are coming from individuals. That corporate giving is, I think in the future, I'm going to cut that out just so you can see what that individual line is, because it's so incredible. Over $1.5 million are coming mostly from the Natick community and surrounding communities. And then foundations and grants. So there's the individual giving that is a huge bucket. Also foundations and grants, which is very important. Some of our primary partners there are the Community Foundation for Metro West, which is based right here in Natick. The Metro West Health Foundation, which is based in Framingham, the Sudbury Foundation, and then a lot of the banks in town. So Middlesex has a charitable foundation, Mutual One. So they're great supporters as well. And then you can see the in-kind goods here. So the $330,000 worth of in-kind goods, and that's going to be food and clothing. We have a large gala every year, so that's the event. So we raised $200,000 at the gala last year, and a lot of those auction items, all of those auction items are in kind and donated. Any questions on this, Cindy?
What kind of auction items are the best ones for you all?
Yeah, that's a great question. Sports tickets seem to be very popular. So people who donate, 2 tickets to the Red Sox or Celtics. Golf related auction items seem to be popular. So, a round of golf at, the Framingham Country Club or something. But honestly, the other thing is we've done this bundling. So we call it the food crawl. So the West Natick food crawl or the Natick Center food crawl. So we'll take gift cards from all the different restaurants in the area, and then we bundle them together. And that's always a popular auction item. So those are the silent auction. And then we have a live auction, and they generate significantly more revenue and are harder to get donated. And that would be, in the past, someone has donated a week at their house on the Cape. Or this past year, the Celtics were in the playoffs and someone had essentially courtside seats. And they who donates that? I don't know, but thank you. So those things we used to have, we did not have it this year, but a round of golf at the country club, which is that Brookline club that is it's kind of priceless because it's so incredibly difficult to play at. So things like that.
Thank you. That's very helpful. It seems like everything that you mentioned they're experiential.
Yes.
Not things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's the development piece. Bill.
Hi. Couple of things. One, I am truly impressed with your data. I like numbers, and I love the way you have tracked so many different things and can actually show us increases or dollars. I just really impressed with that. The one thing you haven't covered, and I jumping in now because it's getting late, is in 2026 or 2025 and 2026, I think you've had several one-time expanding the food bank, getting the truck contributed. What's on your wish list of things that you are looking to do that you don't have funding for right now? What is your big aspirational thinking going forward?
Appear to be frozen at the moment, Rachel. Oh, there you go.
There you go.
You're back. Did you hear Bill's question?
I did. Yeah. And it's a great question. We have done so much in the last year and have so much to be proud of. This is not the question. This is not the answer you're looking for. My big aspiration and it takes, financial support to do that, is strategic planning. So we haven't done a strategic plan in 7 years, which means we don't have a roadmap of where the organization should go. I have some hunches, I have some ideas, I have some things I'm excited about, but I really want to take some time and listen to our client community and hear from them where are their gaps in terms of things that they're looking for and they need support on. One of the hunches is, you saw 886 households last year. We're expecting to have more than that this year. Our case management team is 1 full-time person and 2 part-time people. So if you think about what those caseloads look like, those are pretty incredible. It's very difficult to know all of your clients intimately and have a relationship with all those people. So then it's also difficult to understand what are the needs and what are the trends. So one of the things that we are working on right now is building out how to deepen those connections with our community to better understand what's happening within our community population, and then how we can best support them and serve them. And I would like to go through that process before saying, this is the thing we need, or this is what comes next. Because otherwise, you said, you enjoy data. I clearly do too, right? So to make an informed decision on where the organization's heading and the things that we need to fund, I feel like that's a huge gap in our data set and knowledge. So that's something that I'm focused on for this coming year.
Wonder if there's an organization that does, you need a donation from a consultant firm that will basically do this for you. Yeah, because it's what's happening here. I'm also really interested in what are other organizations doing, not even just in Metro West, but even potentially nationally that are in a similar space, and what are they seeing? How have they expanded? What mistakes have they made? What are best practices? So I'm very much in a mindset of information gathering, and then being able to put in that strategic plan on how to move forward. Good.
But yes, it takes a lot of time. So having support on that from consultants who are experts in that is needed.
Brinley?
Yeah, I think that's an incredibly smart and savvy response, actually, to Bill's question. And I'm curious what that looks like for you. I know Doug just mentioned a consultant, but I wonder if that's the type of thing, or, how are you thinking about doing that? Are you thinking about putting together your own committee? Like in town, we put together committees, right? Mm-hmm. When the school just went through a strategic plan, the town's getting ready to go through another one because they had a 2030 plan. So, do you already have a vision of what that looks like for you, or do you have people to consult with about what that looks like for you in terms of putting together a group and what you need? And is that something that you see you can start in-house, or is that something that you don't even want to try to start in-house and you are just looking for a consultant? And, where are you in that process? Because I think that's such a smart answer.
Yeah. It's a good question. I'll tell you where I am presenting, I think it's July 27th, to our board of directors, what I'm calling, which is not a smart way to say, what I say, the plan to the plan. So what is the plan to get to the plan? And I've been going through some of that thinking, Brinley. And when I first started putting it together, I thought, we can do this. We can totally do this. We don't need to pay for a consultant. We're talking to our own community. We're talking to community partners. We're talking to, other organizations. And then when I started to dig into what it takes to do that effectively, it's a lot of time. And so more and more, I am getting to the mindset of that we do need some consulting help on this. And there are a couple different organizations that are specifically nonprofit consultants. So it's called ESC, which is Empower ESC Service Corps, maybe. ESC, and then there's another organization called SOAR, and they work with nonprofits on strategic plans, on things like this. And most of the people working are volunteers, so it's at a discounted rate. I mean, it's still, thousands of dollars to do that. But then you have somebody that's really leading and then holding the rest of us accountable, whoever's a part of that committee, and helping push that through. What I worry is without external support, that it just gets pushed, the daily stuff comes up, the fire drills happen, and that gets pushed off and pushed off. So that's what I'm thinking about, is engaging one of those. That would be an interview process with each of them to understand what their process is, what the expense is, how it works. That's kind of where I'm thinking right now. But you make a good point. There's other town departments or places that have gone through something similar. So I actually would be interested in hearing from them, any lessons they've learned that they might be willing to share. So this can be an effective process.
Yeah, I think I think you're right. A consultant makes all the difference in the world, because it truly is so much time to put together an effective roadmap. And I, from watching what's happened in town with other organizations, I do think that the consultant with the good core group that is broad, that it's not just, a couple of board members and it's like an actual broad community group really is effective, because pulling from different perspectives. I watched the schools, they did tons of surveys, right? Natick Public Schools did tons of surveys, and they held input sessions. And anyway, I'm always fascinated by this process of putting together a strategic plan. So I wish you the best in that, because it is a journey. It is a lot of work.
Well, I just took a note. Good broad group. So
I see Kathleen's got her hand up, and we are on 10:30. So I don't know how many more slides you might have had. We've certainly interrupted constantly with questions, but it's been a great conversation so far. So Kathleen?
Yeah, I'll just be very brief, but I would just say, Rachel, I strongly encourage you to get a consultant. We've had a consultant at the library for probably our last 5 strategic plans, maybe. I've also done one without a consultant, so I know what that feels like too. So if you can find a consultant that has experience in your type of nonprofit, it's golden. And I would say, that consultant, if they're good, will know to get, a good representative committee and help you figure that out. But perhaps most importantly is, you don't know what you don't know to ask, and the consultant will help you figure that out.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Cool. So
I might be reaching out to a couple of you for some more
Yeah,
questions
please.
and
I mean, we
information.
always
Yeah.
love hearing from everyone, but we also want to be a resource to all of
Yeah.
you guys to the extent we can. So
That would be great. That'd be great. I'll flip through. There's not much left. This was just some of the events. Or I talked about the gala. That's our largest event of the year. I don't know if Alan's still on, but we do this wonderful event in September, which is a bike ride. So if you're interested in participating, it's through Three Squares, and Three Squares is an organization that hosts this ride and stride every year. It's a 5K walk, or there's 3 different levels of biking. It's a 25 mile, 50 and 60-mile ride, if I'm right on those. But it's a peer-to-peer fundraising. So you sign up to be a part of the Natick Service Council team. You're committed to raising $350 or more for the team. All of those proceeds come back to Natick Service Council. And it's this wonderful day. It's at Nobles in Dedham. It's a beautiful campus. There's 30 plus other food insecurity organizations there raising for their program. So it's so fun to see kind of the breadth of organizations that are in this space. And we are definitely looking for team members. So I'm happy to send the link for that, but that is coming up this September. And then we have other events. So we have Boston Marathon bibs, Falmouth Road Race bibs, things like that. So those are the events that help us raise funding. Every year we have 3 different awards where we recognize people in the community or organizations in the community. So just quickly, the Founders Award, which is kind of a Lifetime Achievement Award, went to Pat and Kathy Moynihan this year. They have been incredible volunteers, supporters. Pat has been on the board and a previous board chair. They're here weekly volunteering. So they received the Founders Award this year. I mentioned the Elks earlier, their contribution to our holiday gift program. So the Natick Elks received our Partner Award. And then our Good Neighbor Award went to Christine Ackerman, and she is just an incredible volunteer. She's on our board. She's here weekly in the food pantry. She leads our development committee and is an important person on our gala and making sure that gets up and running. So that's Christine Ackerman. Here's our team. They're an incredible team. We have 2 full-time people and 10 part-time people. So it is a team that gets a lot accomplished in a short amount of time during Monday through Thursday, but they are just incredible. Most people are from Natick and live in the community and just dedicated to what we do. And then our board, just quickly, so you can see who's on our board: Donna Casey, president; Steve Levinsky, vice president; Artie Fair is our clerk; Diane Packer, treasurer; and Andy Meyer is our immediate past president. So some names you might recognize. And then this is our full board of directors here. And then plans for this coming year. We talked about some of this, right? So we talked about strategic planning. We talked about deepening community connections. That's internally here with our client community and externally. And the organizational excellence piece is we're expanding, we're growing, but our system, this is the like non-cool thing to talk about, right? Our systems in place haven't kept up with that. So we have technology systems like Salesforce, which is incredible. We're not leveraging that fully. And just our processes and even our staffing model. I've made some changes to our team organization and how we're structured. So some of that is some internal work that, as we expand and as we do more and more, making sure that system and that scaffolding is really strong in place underneath of it. I think that's it.
Wow. Kind of a fire hose, but it's just amazing to see how many things you're involved with. And thank you so much for
thanks for holding on for that big ride. So
yeah. Yeah. Well, it's been great. Bill, I see you get your hand up.
Yeah, I just wondered what the best way to get in touch with you if we want to pursue anything further.
Yeah, you can email me or call me. So it's
Okay.
it's the longest email in the world. It's rvingsness@natickservicecouncil.org.
I'll make sure I
And
put that
then
in the chat links too.
and then we have you can just call our main line and ask for Rachel too. So
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, again, thanks for spending the time with us. It's been a great update. Lots of ways to get involved and just oh boy, it's this is why Monday morning is a good time for this group, is to hear about wonderful organizations like yours. It really puts a bright light on the day. So thanks for spending the time with us. And
Yeah, well, thank you again for having me and all the great work that you all do for the community.
yeah. Okay, cool.
All right.
Good. At this time, we usually turn to kind of current events. I don't know if Brindley's got things to tell us about. And then next, just a quick shout out. Thanks to Kathleen Donovan. Next week, our speaker will be Katie, I'm drawing a blank on her last name, but the director at Bacon Tree Library will be speaking to us. Yeah. So
all right. Well, I'm going to take off. So
yes, thanks, Rachel.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Brindley, anything going on? Is it quiet at all during the summer, or just no?
I've decided it is just not quiet during the summer. Maybe it's just me. I just so there is the town, me, Johnson.
Yeah.
I'm in processes. So the select board and town administration, with Jay steering, are looking for feedback for interim use potential for Johnson School. That was what happened at the very last meeting, select board meeting. And so I have put a link in the chat that's talking about it. It is a short, simple 2 questions to answer. I didn't go directly to the link. I did put the Johnson website page there on purpose because I think it helps, for me anyway, it helped to watch the presentation and to see the slide deck. And so there is the slide deck attached to the web page that I put. So the web page has both the slide deck and the survey. The slide deck only takes a minute or 2 to peruse to have an idea of what they're talking about before you answer the questions. I do think the more people who answer the questions, the better the results will be. So I once again hope that everyone will do that. I think this is interesting, so I'm just going to mention it because some of us are like that. There's a new group called Ridwell Plastic, and they are taking things that are a lot harder to recycle, like film plastics and stuff like that. And lo and behold, they're doing a presentation tomorrow at Common Street Church at 1:00, which I find interesting. So I thought some people might be interested in that. Natick Nights Out is this week, Thursday. We only do it once a month, so there's only 2 more. So don't miss it. It really is just a cool thing.
Hey, Brindley, on that, are they going to have the beer garden? I heard that they had the beer garden last time, but I hadn't seen it in the description of the event. I'll only go to something if there's alcohol involved.
I'm pretty sure there's the beer garden every time now. They have moved it to Common Street.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, which was
In
cool.
fact, they were looking for volunteers. So if you want to help at the beer garden,
can I drink and volunteer at the same time?
I'm not sure, but they were looking for people to help man the area in terms of, checking people in and out of the area with IDs and stuff like that. So you can look for Parks and Recs. And where was that sign up? Was that Parks and Rec? It might have been Cultural Council. I can't remember right now. Sorry. Yeah. But anyway, that is Thursday. Starts at 5. It really is a blast. They really just have outdone themselves, I think, with all of the events. It's almost like a little mini Natick Days, except, it's more more just all fun. And then this weekend, there's two things going on at the farm, and I am a big fan of both of them. There is a natural dye clinic, so you can learn how to make dyes for marigolds and stuff like that. And that is Saturday afternoon. And then Saturday night is the barn dance. And they used to do the barn dance and then it had to stop for a little while because there was no barn. And so now the barn dance is back. This is the second big year, and it is a blast. They do it right outside of the back of the barn, and it's really chill. And you can dance or not, but the music is fantastic. And they teach you what to do. Right? It's they do it kind of like line dancing, so it's not just club dancing. It's actual dancing, and I really highly recommend it to everybody. I think it is so cool. And then on Sunday is Heartfest downtown on the Common, which is actually I'll put a Facebook link for that. It is hold on, sorry, I had that down, so let me okay, there we go. It is a town run situation with the Common Street. Actually, I guess it's not town, it's just Common Street. Common Street is making a Heart Fest, which is a celebration of music, art, and love for the community. And they've got yoga all day, and they've got local artists and musicians and workshops and raffles and all of that kind of stuff. And that starts at 10:30 on the 19th.
Wow. Well, that's really cool. Huh. Nice.
Oh, and I guess actually one more. I guess I should do this one too because it's gonna come up quick. So there's two. I'll remind them both next week, but in case people are thinking about it, they really are still working on the Main Street redo downtown with the sidewalk, with conversations around redoing the sidewalks and the bike paths or not. I do feel like it's an important thing for everybody to contribute to, if they can, what they think and what it is. So you can easily just Google Natick Main Street Project and it will come right up, and you can see all of the options and the resources. And last week at the select board meeting, they did a huge conversation around it. And I do hope all of us contribute to that conversation. Email the select board and tell them what you think.
Great. Thank you. Hey, Brinley, I also just wanted to give a shout out to your partner, Greg, there for his amazing nature photography around Natick, which is always great, but in particular and related to things that are going on now with the water, runoff down at the Natick Dam and, soon to be now dismantling of the spillway. The abundance of new wildlife that's checking out all of the new area there. Some of Greg's photography of that has been fantastic, and also just
Cool.
it's a great time to be going down and visiting that area to see how it's changing.
Well, I just walked into the kitchen so he could hear you saying that, and he said, "Ah, it's been quite a journey to go down there. We've gone down several times a day. He especially has gone down several times a day over this past 2 weeks to see what it's like and what's happening. And it's really been amazing. It was especially amazing to see what 2.5 inches of rain did, because it had really drained out a lot. And then because it's got just the gate, right? It's not a run of the river anymore because the impoundment was drained. So now when it rains, it just fills the impoundment back up because the water can only go through the gate so much. So watching what we've noticed, I do recommend anybody to go down there to watch this process as much as you can, because it has truly been amazing. The impoundment just really filled right back up with 2.5 inches of rain that we got in Natick, plus whatever wherever anybody upriver got, watching it refill that impoundment again, because It's been amazing watching the wildlife change. Like when they first started draining it, it almost seemed like more wildlife showed up because all of a sudden there was so much algae and so much more fish exposure and so much more exposure because it was going back down instead of being a big deep pool. It was going back down to being just a river. And we saw way more wildlife. And in the past few days, since the impoundments filled back up, there doesn't seem to be as many birds. So
Yeah.
it's
Brinley, where can we access those pictures? Can you put a link in?
Well, they're generally out on Facebook, so.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm not Facebook.
Greg does a lot of them on Natick Talks and Real Natick Talks. He posts them. I don't know if you're on either of those. I will ask him to put together just a Google folder that has a bunch of his pictures, and then I'll
You know what we need to
get
do? We need to
I'll
have
get Doug to
a coffee with a purpose presentation about nature
Exactly.
photography,
That's
and
what
I
I
know the
was
guy
thinking.
to deliver it. It actually, I was also thinking that of drawing a blank on his name, but the artist that we had a couple of years back who goes to that every single day and paints or draws. I'm sure he's been there every day, and I'd love to get an update from him. But yeah, please tell Greg that we're now going to start hounding him to do a presentation to us some Monday morning.
Honey, did you hear that? They want you to do a presentation now.
Yeah.
They want you to put it together and do a presentation. I'm sure that if he had somebody to share the time with, that he would love to share his pictures with you guys and talk about it. It's been quite a journey watching him learn how to do this. He's self-taught with it, and it arose from having kids who do sports. And, phones just don't capture sports very well, and just regular cameras, don't capture sports very well. Kids are far away on the track. They're far away in the cross country meet. They're going wicked fast, or they're surrounded by,
Our kids certainly are.
50 other kids.
Sure.
Right. So
yeah.
It's been an incredible journey watching him go through this. I'm actually pretty proud of the pictures he takes now.
We will continue to pursue that alternative because I think that's great. All right. Well, time's drawing on. So thanks again to everybody joining as usual. Brinley, thanks again for all your links. This is going to be particularly a good one to be able to use as a resource, the recording, even if you watch the whole thing. Such a laundry list of links to all of the partner organizations and activities that Rachel was talking about. Brinley faithfully put in the chat, so that'll be a resource along.
I will say I was actually stoked. I found the family she was talking about in Framingham, which I wasn't aware of before, but
family.
The Curtis family.
It's been, sometimes they've been written up in the local papers when, around Thanksgiving and when they are doing.
They've definitely been written up, and they look for volunteers for delivery help and stuff. So it seems like a cool volunteering operation. Opportunity.
Yeah. All right, cool. Let me turn the recording off at this point.